Hello everyone, our today's topic is whole numbers. But before talking about whole numbers, I would like to introduce natural numbers. So let us first talk about natural numbers. What are natural numbers? These are the counting numbers. Because whenever we start counting the things, these come naturally in our mind. So all counting numbers are natural numbers, and we start counting by 1, and we count numbers like 1 2 3 4 5 6 and so on. So these are all natural numbers. Now let us talk about what is successor. Successor of a number is obtained by adding 1 to a given number. For example, 1 has successor 2, 2 has successor 3, and any other number, say 99, has successor 100. So in this order, if we think, then natural numbers, all of the natural numbers have a successor, predecessor. So the number obtained by subtracting 1 from a given number is called predecessor. For example, 5 has a predecessor 4, 9 has a predecessor 8, but do 1 has a predecessor for natural numbers? Answer is no, because 0 is the predecessor of 1, but it is not included in natural numbers. So all natural numbers have predecessors except 1. So there is only one natural number which do not have any predecessor, that is 1. So let us now introduce whole numbers. As 1 had no predecessor in natural numbers, so if we add 0 to the collection of natural numbers, then a new set of numbers will be there, and those numbers will be called as whole numbers. So whole numbers are the numbers which are collection of natural numbers along with 0. Whole numbers are written as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. All whole numbers have successor. Does all whole numbers have a predecessor? Think of predecessor of 0 in whole numbers. As you can think that 0 has a predecessor -1, but it is not a whole number. So all whole numbers have a predecessor except 0. Now today we are going to discuss the properties of whole numbers also, in which properties of addition, subtraction, multiplication and division will be covered. So first is a closure property. As it is related to whole numbers and addition, so you will find these two words in each of the property. So we will talk about whole numbers and we will be talking about addition. So closure property says, when a whole number is added to a whole number, the result is also a whole number. For example, if we add 8 plus 9, we get 17. Here we are adding a whole number 8 to a whole number 9, and we get answer as 17, which is also a whole number. So basically, when two whole numbers are added, the answer is always a whole number, and this property is called as closure property. And this property remains true for all whole numbers. You will not find any contradiction where two whole numbers are added and they give a number other than whole number. So all whole numbers follow closure property of addition. Next property is commutative property. It says that the sum of two whole numbers is always the same irrespective of their order. Basically, if we want to add two numbers, say A and B, we can add them in any order. We can add them as A plus B, or we can add them as B plus A. If the answer is C, then after interchanging A and B, it will also give answer as C. For example, if we add 3 to 4, we get answer 7, but if we interchange and add 4 to 3, the answer still remains 7. You can take other examples. For example, 4 plus 6 gives you 10, and 6 plus 4 will also give you 10. Similarly, 10 plus 20 gives you 30, and 20 plus 10 gives you again 30. So all whole numbers follow commutative property of addition, in which if we interchange two whole numbers, then we have the same answer after addition. Now let us discuss another properties of addition of whole numbers, associative property. This property is used when we are adding three whole numbers. So when we have to add three whole numbers, it does not matter which two of the whole numbers you are adding first, right? So the sum of three whole numbers always remains same irrespective of how they are grouped. So suppose you want to add A plus B and C, and the answer finally is D. So you can first add A and B and then add the result to C, or you can first add B and C, then add the result to A, or you can add first number and last number first and then add the result to B. The answer will remain same in every situation. For example, if we want to add 4 plus 6 plus 8, we know that the answer is 18. Now how do our mind calculates 18? Either we add 4 and 6 first, that gives us 10, and 10 plus 8 gives us 18. Or we can do it in this way. We can group 6 and 8 first. 6 plus 8 gives us 14, and add 14 to 4. This also gives us 18. Or there is another way, that you add first 4 and 8. You get 12. 12 plus 6 gives you 18. So this is how, if we group 4 and 6 together first, or we group 6 and 8 together, or we group 4 and 8 together, it does not matter, the answer will still remain the same. Next is the zero property of addition. So zero property says when 0 is added to any whole number, it gives back the same whole number as the sum. 0 plus A gives you A, and also A plus 0 again gives you A. Here changing order does not change the sum. If you take 0 first, or you take 0 at the second place, the answer still remains the same. So 0 is also called additive identity of addition. Why it is called identity? Because whenever we add 0 to any number, it gives it identity back. So 123, when 0 is added to 123, you get its identity back as 123. Or when 123 is added to 0, then also we get 123 back as an answer. So that is why 0 is called additive identity, because it gives back the same answer. Always keep in mind that zero property must be tested on interchange of numbers. That means first you have to write 0 plus 123, it gives 123, and then you have to interchange 123 and 0. So whenever we are talking about zero property, For its validity, we must interchange the numbers. If the answer comes same from both the sides, then we can say that 0 property is valid. Otherwise, if on interchanging the answer is different, then 0 property is not valid. Moving ahead, now the properties that we have discussed for addition, we will discuss them for subtraction. Closure property. As we have read that in addition, the sum of two whole numbers must return a whole number. But now checking it for subtraction. For example, if I subtract 0 from 3, that means 3 minus 0 gives us 3. Now 3 is a whole number, 0 is a whole number, but the answer is also a whole number. But if we take 0 minus 3, then whenever we subtract a larger number from a smaller number, the answer is negative. So 0 minus 3 gives us minus 3, but minus 3 is not a whole number. So there is a contradiction here. So we can say that a whole number, when subtracted from a whole number, does not always result in a whole number. That means closure property does not holds true for subtraction. Closure property holds true for addition, but not for subtraction, because whole number minus whole number is not always a whole number, but whole number plus whole number is always a whole number. So 0 minus 3 is minus 3, but minus 3 is not a whole number, as all whole numbers carry plus sign. So there is no whole number which is with a minus sign. So subtraction results in a whole number only when smaller number is subtracted from a larger number. That means we can say that closure property for subtraction is valid only when a smaller number is subtracted from larger number. But whenever we are subtracting a larger number from a smaller number, we will get minus sign, and as we get minus sign, the answer is not a whole number, and hence closure property will not be valid. Now if we talk about 0, 0 does not carry any sign. 0 is neutral, it does not have plus or minus sign. So what is our conclusion? That closure property is not applicable on subtraction of whole numbers. Other properties, commutative property. Again, if we apply commutative property for subtraction, this property will not hold, because we do not get the same answer on interchanging the order of the numbers. 7 minus 5 gives us 2, but 5 minus 7 gives us minus 2. So as we don't get the same answer, if we interchange, so we can say that commutative property is not valid for whole numbers for subtraction. Associative property, again associative property is also not followed, because for example, if I want to subtract 9 minus 3 minus 2, if I pair first 2, I get 9 minus 3 as 6 and 6 minus 2 as 4. But if I pair 3 and 2 first, then 3 minus 2 gives us 1 and 9 minus 1 gives us 8. So as you can see that in first case the answer is 4, and in the second case the answer is 8. So grouping changes our answer. Hence we can say that associative property is not valid for subtraction of whole numbers. So whenever the answer is changed, the property is not valid. In the same way, 0 property is also not shown by subtraction. How? If 34 minus 0 is there, it will give answer 34. But if we interchange 0 minus 34, it is not giving the same answer. So 34 does not gets its identity back whenever we are interchanging. In first case answer is 34 and in other case answer is minus 34. As the answer is changed, so the property is not valid. So we don't get the same answer. So 0 is not the identity on subtraction. Let us talk about multiplication now. So as we were discussing these properties for addition, for subtraction, now is the time to discuss it for multiplication. So closure property. So if we multiply any two whole numbers, we will always get a whole number as an answer. For example, if we multiply 8 and 9, we get 72. So you can easily see that 8 is a whole number, 9 is a whole number, and their multiplication 72 is also a whole number. And this will go on with every whole number. Whenever you multiply two whole numbers, you will never find that the answer is some other number. You will always get a whole number. So as it remains true for all the whole numbers, hence we can say that closure property is valid for multiplication. Next is the commutative property. Here the word sum is wrongly written. We have to take multiplication. So multiplication of two whole numbers will always result in the same answer. Whether you multiply a into b or you multiply b into a, the answer will always be the same. So 3 into 4 gives you 12. Then what will be the answer of 4 into 3? It will be the same as 12. So answer remains same, hence the property is valid, and hence we can say commutative property holds good for multiplication of whole numbers. I am again saying that the word sum here should be replaced with multiplication. So if we multiply in any order, the answer is same. Associative property. Here multiplication of three whole numbers is always same irrespective of how they are grouped. For example, if I want to multiply 4 into 6 into 2, so it does not matter whether I multiply 4 and 6 first, or 6 and 2 first, or 4 and 2 first. So we can group any of them together. So 4 into 6 gives you 24, 24 into 2 gives you 48. Here 6 into 2 gives you 12, 12 into 4 gives you 48. And here 4 into 2 gives you 8, and 8 into 6 gives you 48. So the answer remains same, hence associative property is valid for multiplication of whole numbers. Zero property of, here it should be multiplication, as we have a reference of addition but we are talking about multiplication. So any number when multiplied by 0 gives 0 as an answer. For example, a multiplied by 0 will give you 0, and if you interchange 0 multiplied by a, can it be a? No. Here this a must be 0. So 0 into a is 0, and a into 0 is also 0. So here it should be 0. So if you multiply 9 with 0, you get 0, and 0 with 9 you will also get 0. So what should be the value of this a here? This should be 0, right? Because 0 multiplied by 0 gives you 0 back, right? So this is true for every whole number. Whichever whole number you multiplied with 0, you will always get 0 as an answer, and the answer will not change if you interchange the numbers. For example, 9 into 0 is 0, and if you interchange 0 and 9, the answer is still the same as 0. Then the distributive property. So this is very important property, and I have also made a specific video with activity on this earlier. So this property shows how multiply is distributed with addition. Here we can see that a multiplied with b plus c. So a multiplication with b and A multiplied by C will be distributed over addition. So we will take A multiplied by B in separate bracket and A multiplied by C in separate bracket, and these two brackets will be separated by plus sign. In the same way, whether A is in the pre-multiplication or in the post-multiplication, the rule remains the same, that in first bracket we will take B multiplied by A, and in second bracket we will take C multiplied by A, and we will separate both the brackets by this plus sign. Similarly, multiplication is also valid for distributivity over subtraction. So as it was doing for plus, the same will be done for minus. So A multiplied by B minus C will be distributed as A multiplied by B minus A multiplied by C. In the same way, if we take A as the post multiplier or the second multiplier, then the property still holds good, that B multiplied by A minus C multiplied by A. Let us see the example. Suppose we want to multiply 213 with 104. So in order to multiply easily, what we do is we break this 104 as 100 plus 4. Now it comes in this format, A multiplied B plus C. So what we have to do is we will take 213 and 100 in one bracket and 213 multiplied by 4 in other bracket, separated by plus. So when we multiply 213 with 100, we get 21300, and when we multiply 213 with 4, we get 852. When we add them, we get 22152. So we need not multiply them by the traditional method, which is very lengthy, and if you apply distributive property, it will become very easy to multiply such large numbers. Similarly, for example, if I want to multiply 712 with 98, as we can see that 98 can be easily broken as 100 minus 2, because 100 minus 2 gives you 98. So instead of 98, we have written 100 minus 2 and applied the property 712 multiplied by 100 minus 712 multiplied by 2, which will be 71200 minus 1424, and the result is 69776. So applying this property saves our time and effort of traditional multiplication that takes up more time. Then there is a property of 1. According to this property, any whole number multiplied by 1 or 1 multiplied by any whole number gives the same answer as the product. So as you can see that 34 into 1 gives you 34, and 1 into 34 will also give you 34. This property must be tested on interchange of numbers, so that the answer must be the same. So A into 1, then it must be tested for 1 into A also. Hence, as the answer is coming back as the same, so this 1 is called as multiplicative identity. It is in the same way that we have taken 0 as additive identity, then 1 is multiplicative identity. Now property of division. So division will not follow any property, just like subtraction. It will not follow closure, it will not follow commutative property, it will not follow associative property, because the answer does not comes the same whenever we interchange. So let's first discuss closure property. Closure property does not hold true for division of whole numbers, because when we try to divide a whole number by another whole number, it is not necessary that you get a whole number. For example, if you divide 5 by 2, we get 2.5. 2.5 is not a whole number because in whole numbers we don't have decimal digits. So as the answer is not a whole number, closure property is not valid. Then commutative property, if we interchange, for example 15 divided by 3 gives you 5, but 3 divided by 15 will not be 5, hence the commutative property is not valid. Next we have associative property. This property does not straightly apply to division, as more than two numbers cannot be divided at the same time. For example, 12 divided by 3 divided by 3. This is not possible because which two you will group first? If you take these 12 and 3, then the answer is different. Then if you take 3 divided by 3 first, then the answer will be different. So as the answer will never be the same, so this associative property is not valid. Similarly, zero property, again whenever we have to test zero property or property of 1, we have to interchange the numbers. As we can see that division by 0 is not possible, so zero property is not valid. So 0 divided by 6 gives you answer 0, but 6 divided by 0 gives you answer not defined, as you cannot divide any number by 0. So as we do not get the same answer, so we can say that zero property is not valid for division. In the same way, property of 1 is also not valid for division. Why? Because we do not get the same answer on interchanging. So here 6 divided by 1 gives you 6, but 1 divided by 6 does not gives you 6. Hence the property of 1 is also not valid. So in case of division, closure property, commutative property, associative property, zero property and property of 1, none of the property is valid, just like subtraction. In subtraction also, closure property, commutative property, associative property, property of 0, property of 1, none of the property was valid. So in which operation of whole numbers these properties are valid? The operations in which these properties are valid are addition and multiplication. For addition and multiplication, closure property, commutative property, associative property, property of 0, property of 1, all are valid. So students, thank you very much for patiently listening and stay tuned for more videos.